Hey folks, welcome to another Math Notes video. Today we're going to be talking about right triangles and the Pythagorean Theorem. This is section 4.1.1. So I believe you've been introduced to the Pythagorean Theorem in the past, so we're just going to do a little refresher here. And it is a really important formula and theorem to be aware of. It gets used all the time in integrated 1, integrated 2, integrated 3. And, all the way up through calculus and beyond. You just need to be aware of it and be thinking about it. So let's take a look at it. So triangles that contain a 90-degree angle are called right triangles. The two shortest sides of the right triangle, the sides that meet at the right angles, are called legs of the triangle, and the longest side is called the hypotenuse. Now, traditionally, the legs are labeled A and B, and the hypotenuse is labeled C. So the equation is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now when you just label it as leg and leg, that does sort of call out the importance of the fact that it doesn't really matter which one you call a and b, as long as you make sure that c is the hypotenuse. So c does have to be the hypotenuse. So it's squaring the two smaller ones and adding them together, and you get the longer one. So it should kind of make sense to you that we have to add the smaller ones to get the bigger one. So be careful when you're putting those into your equation, okay? So, again, it doesn't matter which leg is leg 1 and which is leg 2. I don't know whether I read leg 1 once or leg 1 twice. The Pythagorean theorem can be used to determine a missing side length in a right triangle. See the example below. So if we have leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared, that's 5 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. So we're going to square our two smaller sides, add them together, and that'll equal the square of the hypotenuse. So 5 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared is 25 plus x squared equals 100. If we subtract 25 from both sides, we get x squared equals 25, or x is equal to the square root of 75. So that was x squared equals 75. And that's about 8.66 centimeters. Now you can do a little reality check when you're doing this and make sure that if you're solving for a leg, it always has to be smaller than the hypotenuse. If you're solving for the hypotenuse, it always has to be larger than a leg. The missing side is square root of 75 centimeters, or about 8.66 centimeters. The answer is square root of 75 is an example of an exact answer. Well, 8.66 is a decimal approximation of the answer. That's because this keeps going for many decimal places. All right, let's look at some examples here, or some problems for you to solve. So use the Pythagorean theorem in problems 1 and 2 to solve for x. Make sure you understand which sides are the legs and which sides are the hypotenuse. You may want to actually label those as legs and hypotenuse on your drawing. And you should have drawings for all of these. Part 3 says refer to the figure at the right, where you have a triangle with sides M, N, and P, and determine which statements are true and which ones are false. So that's a little tricky. See if you can think about how we're going to move the Pythagorean theorem around to figure out which of those statements are true and which are false. All right, folks, I'll see you next time.